I'm Lisa Holzel with the Shawn Petite Creative Team, and I'm super excited to share my first painting with you guys. It is called Letting Go, and I really like the Lucas uh, acrylic paints because they're like butter. They're super soft and smooth, and look how excited I am. I'm like, yes, Shawn Petite stencils. So I just found this board and I'm just splashing on colors and stuff. And what I ended up doing made it really thick. So you're going to see me struggling through this whole process because I did try and wait for the paint to dry, but it was just way too thick. And I called it letting go because with just life, COVID and society and this and that, and just so many changes for 2020. And I really wanted to show to start with pain. So I guess struggling with this painting really allowed me to let go. And I'm using some gesso, mixing it in with the green and yellow, and this is just a little piece of paper. It's a leaf, the back of a leaf, the red um, vines, I guess they're called. So, and there's another piece of scrap of paper that I thought showed pain and an image, kind of a face in there. There's an eye. So with the scribbles and everything on those papers, it just showed my emotions and struggles that we all feel in different ways and being affected by it, and how do we come out of it. So that is how this painting is. How is this painting emerging? How am I going to create pain and show you how to let go? So I took the scribbles stencil and I tape off areas I will not use. So I was actually thinking of just using the one that kind of looks like a barbed wire, is why I chose it and did it in red to kind of match with the vine of the leaves there, the back of that leaf. I can't think of what it's called right now. And I used actually this kind of thick, heavy pouncer that wasn't really working so well. So I found that using my fingers was the best because it was a thinner stencil, and I kind of just, it was easier to be various in the spacing of my board. So I kind of just wanted to show pain through blood, bleeding, suffering, and so I just kept staring at it and staring at it, and I'm like, I need to add some light to it. And the waves with the residue of the red on my pouncing pad thingamajigger, I felt like would help soften the layers that life gives us. So, and I think with the process of this painting, I did not have a plan, just so you know. There was no plan when I created this. I just kind of went with the flow, and that's what life gives me. And so I wanted to carry that, the veins, haha, I knew it was coming, the veins of the leaf upward because it did remind me of veins of blood. So, and I really like water soluble crayons. And when I create faces, I always use charcoal. And this is where you get to see me struggling because the paint was scraping off and I kept wiping it off my charcoal stick. And it was just a big mess. And I went with it. I continued with it because this was the process of letting go of struggling in art, in life, in 2020. It's making us crazy. And look at her face, it's looking really crazy. And I went with it. I wasn't going to stop. I was going to figure it out. And when I used the water soluble crayons, I will take a wet brush and try to spread it and soften the edges up a bit, and that's what I'm doing now with no colors or anything. It's just from the chalk, and I like adding shadows with different colors, and that's kind of a bluish purple crayon, and I like to do strong contrasts because I feel like with life and pain kind of takes us in the dark, and then I want to soften it up and bring us into the light by letting go. So her face is slowly emerging. It looks like a crazy hot mess, but I'm okay with it because I'm always learning and growing through my art, and that's how I create without a plan. I kind of just let pieces speak to me as I go, and I'm using the yellow to brighten up the face, to do the highlights, and then I'll go back in with white and wetting a wet brush to show the highlights. There's my white. And that's the process that I do with all my paintings. I like to start dark and then go light because that I feel like that's how I emerge through each day. Just like this piece is coming, and it'll start softening up and emerging of how we choose to get through our days. There are some days that are real dark and we're in pain and hurting, but then other days we can just come out of it and let it go. And that's what I'm doing with the white. I'm allowing light to enter, to cover up or just leave whatever pain and darkness in the background. So, oh, look at these feathers. Those are the Shawn Petite Feather Stencil Pack. And I will use this for her hair. I felt like because we're going through the steps of each day, and it's different for each and every one of us, but I felt like the feathers gave us a lightness. Let our hair be free in the wind, let the strands of our hair be light. And that's a process of letting go, is go outside and breathe in that fresh air and live and see where you are at that moment. Are you able to let that go? I love those prayer flags that I've seen in Arizona, in Sedona, where you write your prayers on fabric and you line them up on a string and you put it out on your tree branches, and it eventually the threads will fray, and the wind is what takes your prayers away and heal you. And I think that's how I wanted to bring those feathers in, as a lightness and a way to fly, to let go of whatever you are going through. So I like to layer and mix my colors, and I'm doing a darker layer in the background, and just allowing this stencil to speak to me. And I actually really love the variety that I am given with all these feathers and the directions that they are going. And there I did let it dry before I went back, and I'm going to go and darken her face and give her some depth, because that is what life is. It's layers and depth of our emotions and our pain and what we're going through, and even the process of letting it go. I really love the dark contrast of dark and light, because we need to get out of the darkness, we need to go into the light. So It's something I do in all of my paintings. Um, and I'm not looking for perfection on this portrait at all. It's more of just a freeing of letting go because I struggled so much in the beginning with the heavy, thick paint that I laid down. So I was also learning with my painting how to let go and how to just go with it. And I think by adding the darkness in her face, she also came out a lot brighter and lighter. And with the feathers, I am adding yellow because I want those highlights to show. I don't want um, the darkness there of her face to be just so stark. I wanted layers of those feathers. And I might go back and outline them, some of them with black, but I don't know. Sometimes I like to sit and look at my paintings for days and weeks and kind of let it speak to me while I create other pieces. So I really hope you enjoyed the process of watching me let go um, during this piece. And thank you for joining me again. My name is Lisa Hosel. I am with One Drop to Wellness. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I do have a website all under One Drop to Wellness. And thank you. And I hope you are able to let go.